very careful about what I put into my body, which means I end up preparing most meals myself. A little protein scramble to start the day. Some eggs, some sausage.
That's delicious, thank you.
My pleasure. I would apologize for my analytical ambush, but I know I will soon be apologizing again, and you'll tire of that eventually, so I have to consider using apologies sparingly.
Just keep it professional.
Or we could socialize like adults. God forbid we become friendly.
I don't find you that interesting.
You will. Nothing about us to feel horrible about. You know, Will? I think Uncle Jack sees you as a fragile little teacup. The finest china used for only special guests.
How do you see me?
The mongoose I went under the house when the snakes slid by. Finish your breakfast. Loin, served with a Cumberland sauce of red fruits.
Loin. What kind?
Pork.
Wonderful. I don't get many opportunities to eat home-cooked meals. My wife and I both work. And as hard as I tried not to, I did wind up marrying my mother.
Your mother didn't cook?
She did. She did. I only wish she didn't. There was this meal she used to prepare. She liked to call it Oriental noodles. Spaghetti, soy sauce, bouillon cubes, and Spam. I was very thin as a youngster.
Well, next time, bring your wife. I'd love to have you both for dinner.
Thank you. Lovely. So, why do you think Will Graham came back to see you?
I'm sure he recognizes the necessity of his own support structure if he is to go on supporting you in the field.
Well, I believe that a guy like Will Graham knows exactly what's going on inside of his head, which is why he doesn't want anyone else up there.
Are you not accustomed to broken ponies in your stable?
All right. All right.
A modified Boudin Noir from Alibab's Gastronomie Pratique. You promised to deliver your wife to my dinner table.
Well, we're going to have to polish up our act. We can't have you diagnosing our marital problems all in one fell swoop. What am I about to put in my mouth?
Rabbit.
He should have hopped faster.
Yes, he should have. But fortunately for us, he did not. It's important to know when it's time to turn the page. Have you thought about applying for schools?
My dad killed girls at all the schools I applied to.
Perhaps that can wait then.
You're making breakfast for dinner?
High life eggs. The chef in Spain called Moreau claimed he invented it in the 19th century. Taste is not only biochemical, it's also psychological.
Sausage and eggs was the last meal I was having with my parents.
I know. It's also the first meal you're having with me.
Hannibal made breakfast for dinner. I could eat.
A masterpiece foie gras au torchon with a late harvest of Vidal sauce with dried and fresh figs.
Wonderful. Cold foie gras with warm figs.
Yes.
Very nice.
Would I be a horrible guest if I skipped this course?
Too rich.
Too cruel.
Phyllis.
Jack.
First and worst sign of sociopathic behavior. Cruelty to animals.
That doesn't apply in the kitchen.
I have no taste for animal cruelty, which is why I employ an ethical butcher.
An ethical butcher. Be kind to animals and then eat them.
I'm afraid I insist on it. For our next course, roasted pork shank. And I assure you, Bella, it was an especially supercilious pig. Inspired by Auguste Escoffier, we are having longue d'agneau en papillote. Served with a sauce of duxelles and oyster mushrooms. Picked myself.
I don't think I've ever had tongue before.
It was a particularly chatty lamb.
Smells delicious.
The Romans used to kill flamingos just to eat their tongues.
Don't give me ideas. Your tongue is very feisty. And as this evening has already proven, it's nice to have an old friend for dinner.
Psychic driving is unethical.
But reasonable in certain circumstances.
What circumstances?
It may have been useful trying to remind Gideon he's the Chesapeake Ripper. If he repressed those memories. But he seems to have come to that awareness all by himself.
Dr. Bloom, if he has been unethically manipulated somehow, I need to know.
I love Norton grapes. Same color inside as outside. Peel it. And the flesh is also purple. Not like other grapes where flesh is white and color comes from the skin.
A grape with nothing to hide.
Were I in your position, I would have attempted psychic driving. Perhaps you already have.
But he also took his heart, which, if you recall, is what he tried to do in the hotel, but was interrupted before he could paint his picture.
Ripper wasn't painting a picture in the hotel. Someone else was.
Is the organ harvester disguising his work as the crimes of a serial killer, or is a serial killer disguising his crimes as the work of an organ harvester?
Are you purposely avoiding the subject of Will Graham?
Absolutely.
Not on my account, I hope. I'm happy to get your perspective.
No, it's on Jack Crawford's account. I don't want any information about Will that I shouldn't have as his friend.
On a chance soit puissance, quando défendra ta voix. Vous fêtez la famille dans le bras, c'est fait le compromis. Au plus sombre des écrits, dans ce lit, le vent des folles. Autour des sorciers des soirs, autour des sorciers des soirs. Et Satan conduit le vol, conduit le vol.
Hearts, kidneys, livers, stomachs, pancreases, lungs. Who the hell gets a spleen transplant?
Ripper's making sausage.
I have a butcher who carries sow's blood. Centrifugate, separate the matter from the water, creates a transparent liquid. Serve with tomatoes in suspension, and everybody will love the sweet taste. You sure you can't stay?
I don't think I would be good company.
I disagree. I transferred my passion for anatomy into the culinary arts. I fix minds instead of bodies, and no one's died as a result of my therapy. Before we begin, you must all be warned. Nothing here is vegetarian. Bon appetit. More wine. A late harvest Vidal from Linden.
Virginia. I thought it was French.
The Virginian wine revolution is upon us. I apologize for being so blunt, Tobias, but I have to ask. Did you kill that trombonist?
Do you really have to ask?
No, just changing the subject. They're going to find you.
Let them.
You want to get caught?
I want them to try.
I was going to kill you. I didn't poison you, Tobias. I wouldn't do that to the food.
She said she wouldn't be good for me, and I wouldn't be good for her.
I don't disagree. She would feel an obligation to her field of study to observe you, and you would resent her for it.
I know.
Wondering then why you kissed her.
Lana showed up. She looked at me. Sleepwalk. I get headaches. I am hearing things. Feel unstable.
That's why you kissed her. Are you still hearing this killer's serenade behind your eyes?
Well, that's our song.
I feel terrible, Miss Lowndes. Never entered my head you might be a vegetarian. A lapse on my behalf.
Research always delivers benefits.
If it contradicts a good story, hell, publish it anyway.
This book is about her innocence. I want Abigail to have a future.
That's what we all want.
Well, we all want what's best for Abigail.
This is possibly the finest salad I've ever eaten in my life. Shame to ruin it with all that meat.
The jamón ibérico. Still love your little rare treats, don't you, Hannibal? More expensive and difficult they are to obtain, the better.
It's a distinction that adds an expectation of quality.
Not always.
Well, for Iberico, only a few thousand are selected each year. But it's the pig. Once fattened and slaughtered and air-cured, really superior to any other pig. Or is it simply a matter of reputation preceding product?
It's irrelevant. If the meat eater thinks it's superior, then belief determines value.
A case of psychology overriding neurology.
So we know how Iberico gets his pigs. How did you get yours?
Will has a remarkably vivid imagination.
So you set his mind on fire.
Imagination is an interesting accelerant for a fever.
tried to appeal to his narcissism?
By convincing him he was the Chesapeake Ripper.
If only I had been more curious about the common mind.
I have no interest in understanding sheep, only eating them. Kudal, a South Indian curry. Made from sheep, of course. Bathed in a coconut coriander chili sauce.
It feels like a Last Supper.
You're not the only psychiatrist accused by a patient of making them kill.
Smells delicious.
Silky chicken in a broth. A black-boned bird, prized in China for its medicinal value since the 7th century. Wolfberries, ginseng, ginger, red dates, and star anise.
You made me chicken soup.
Yes. The nurses tell me you've been wandering, Will. Visiting that unfortunate young woman suffering from delusions.
She's my support group.
And I hope you're hers. Nothing more isolating than mental illness.
The loss of time, sleepwalking. Could that have all just been the fever?
Good evening.
Hello, Hannibal. Please come in.
Tête de veau en sauce verte.
Smells like a bonfire.
I smoked the veal on a pile of dry hay. It imparts a unique, smoldering flavor to the meat. And to the room.
This is an unexpected treat.
Thank you for indulging me.
You seemed like you needed to talk.
And since you refuse invitations to my dinner table, this is the only way I could cook for you.
What's on your mind, Hannibal?
Your veal is getting cold.
Controversial dish. Veal.
Those who denounce veal often cite the young age at which the animals are killed, when they're in fact older than many pigs going to slaughter.
You have to be careful, Hannibal.